Today I want to take you guys for a walk. Let's go.
So I've been thinking recently about the idea of doing what you love. I think it's not something we talk about in detail. We just talk about the idea of doing what you love, like composing, either for a living or for fun, or having a job that you really enjoy. What I've been thinking recently is that I feel like I have a responsibility to dig a little deeper to figure out what that actually means. I think the trap we fall into is thinking that if we don't enjoy something, we don't love it. And I don't think that's always true. For example, I'm bouncing out stems right now for the album, the finished product. That part sucks. It's not fun. I don't enjoy that process. It's not creative. It's not exciting. It's boring and it's tedious. But that doesn't mean that I don't love my album or I don't love writing an album or making music. It just means that there's parts of it that I don't enjoy. So how do we discern the difference between those two things? Something that we don't love, but we love the whole thing versus something that we don't love and we don't love it at all. To do that, I think it's worth thinking about the things that you do enjoy on the daily, and if the thing you're working towards is something that matters to you. One of my students, Ben, in the group asked me why I make YouTube videos. I've been doing this for a long time, 18 years on this channel. Sometimes my YouTube fuels my business and sometimes it doesn't. So why do I keep doing it? Why would I do a video like this? What I realized is I have always been really passionate about documenting my life, sharing things, not just for other people, but also for myself. You know, I used to do live gigs, performing music, and I always used to think, what a shame that these cool ideas that I'm doing live, what a bummer that they're not being captured. I would love to just bottle that up and be able to look back on that moment and how cool it was. I realized that's what I do on YouTube. I try to capture these moments when I'm making music that are not repeatable. Those moments of inspiration or excitement when something happens. How cool is it that I can go back and look at those moments and re-experience that feeling of joy or excitement or maybe even confusion or pain and see how it was just a part of the big tapestry of making a piece of art. That, for me, is what I love doing. I would do this whether I was getting paid to do it or not. And I think if you can find something like that for yourself, find something that you would do, even if you weren't paid for it, everything else falls into place if you can do that. The business, the clients, the audience, the money. I really, really believe that if you can find that, everything else works out. Now, the hard part is finding it. And the really hard part is staying in love with it. When I start to make YouTube videos and do this thing and build an audience, stuff gets in the way. You start to think how am I gonna turn this into a business? Oh, now I gotta edit this thing, it's gonna take forever. Or I gotta keep up with the trends. And external stuff just starts to sabotage your enjoyment of the thing you're doing. So why am I bringing all this up now? There's a good chance there's something you love doing that may be buried away inside of you. And maybe you think to yourself, well, if I had enough money, then I would do this thing. Or if I had my dream house or my dream car, if I had some external thing, then I could finally do that thing. And the reason why I tell people you can't defer your dreams, your passions, is because when you're caught on this treadmill of needing more, it will never end. It doesn't matter. You'll get a composing gig, but you'll need a bigger one, or you'll need one that pays more. If you have an audience on YouTube, you'll need a bigger one, or you'll need a bigger team, or you'll need to make more money There's always going to be something that you are going to think that you need more of to give yourself permission to start doing what you love. And what I'm suggesting to you is, what would it look like for you to not need anything to give yourself permission, but to give yourself permission to start moving into the thing that you love without seeing it as a waste of time, without needing a secondary outcome in order to make it worth it.
That is cool.
But just to do the thing simply because you enjoy doing it. And I promise what'll happen is, if you can sustain that energy over weeks, months, years, maybe even a decade, everything will fall into place. And you will wind up, regardless of what happens, whether you have a big fancy career or not, you'll wind up enjoying your life because you'll be making time for the things that you care about. And it's not always going to be fun. Sometimes it's going to suck. Sometimes you'll have to bounce out stems for your new album. But I think it's worth it. And I think when you look back at the things you've accomplished in your life and the passions that you chose to pursue without waiting for permission, I think you'll be proud of what you've done.
Well, thank you all. Thank you all for this. I don't know if I'll upload this or not, but thanks. This is pretty sweet. I'm gonna sleep with it every night.